Hey everybody, I've got a card for you using this die right here. It's called Botanical Expressions. It's a leaf die. Can be a border, it can be a bridge card. It's nice because you can buy it by itself. I think it's $20. And there's a bundle too, but I did get the bundle, although, it's just sentiments, which is really nice. This was really what I wanted. I like leaves a lot. They're useful for all kinds of different cards. And this one, the way that it cuts, it's going to be open-ended on either side. So, for instance, if you want to cut through just a card front like this, it's going to work. And it actually works. It's a 6-inch die, but the way you can cut your paper, it'll stop right at 5.5, so it's just the right size for this kind of thing. So you can have a peekaboo card with acetate or just by itself, and it can go this way or this way. Lots of different things you can do with it. I needed a wedding card, and so I made this one. Now, the bride's color is periwinkle, and so this hydrangea hue is very close to her color. It reminds me of my prom dress. I think I had a periwinkle prom dress, and I think I have a periwinkle bridesmaid dress somewhere still in the archives. But hydrangea hue is a pretty color. So we're going to do this with some copper. Now this designer paper has been around for a while. It is still available. Everybody wanted it, then it was gone. It's called Delicate Dreams. Yeah, it was so popular, it would go out of stock and then come back in. It has all of these great copper accents over all the sheets. And everybody was upset when it was gone, and it came back, and now they have tons of it. So if you missed getting Delicate Dreams, it's still there. It's really pretty. I love all those copper accents all over it. And if you've got copper foil, it would go great with that. And then just regular patterns on the back side, which I really like this one here, which is like a kind of a fabric tweedy linen look. Now I have copper foil, but I wanted to try this paper that's coming out on September 1st in the new holiday catalog. I think it's called Metal Effects or something like that. It's 12 by 12. I've just got it cut down to 6 by 6, but it's silver and like a gold type, almost brassy gold, and then this kind of reddish copper. So I'm going to use that. I cut this piece of paper to 2.5 inches, and we'll glue that down. Now I want my little leaves to pop over, and I'll show you how I did that. This is just 2.5 by 5.5. And then I've got a little 3/4 inch piece that's going to go back here. But with this particular die, because it is open-ended, there's some tricks you can do with it. Now, first thing you want to do when you want to use it on a card like this, this is 2 inches by 5.5. And like I said, the die is 6 inches, but what you can do is you want to get it right in the middle, and the leaves will match up perfectly so you don't cut any of those off. Tape it down and then go cut it. So then what you're left with is this, and because we left little pieces on each end, we could just tuck it in, underneath here, had I not glued it down so quickly. Let's see if I can lift the edge just to show you. So you could just slide this in here and glue that down and call it done. And whatever color card you're using, works out great. So you could just do that. And that's very pretty. And that would be fine for a wedding card, but no, because it's a close friend of mine, I wanted to do a little more. So I wanted these leaves to kind of overlap a little bit. Let me show you how I did that. So whatever one looks like it's going to have more leaves, which I think it's this top one here. Yes, well, this one right here. So what I did is I just came in and cut them out, and some of them you'll need to make the leaf tips because, as you can see, they cut off a little bit. So you're just gonna make pretend leaves, just the tops of them. You're just going in and cutting them like that. And on this one here, I cut that one off. And same with this one, and then this one I made the little leaf tips. It's not hard to do. You're just making little tips of the leaves. And that's it. Just sort of look at them and see that they look okay. Now I knew that some of this is going to be covered based on the way that I'm doing this design here. So on this end, I'm just going to glue this down like this. Put a little bit of glue right on the edges. One here and one here, being careful not to go too far, but just enough to get that last little bit down. And then this is a little 3/4 inch strip that just covers that up, like that. There. All right, now for the sentiment, I did an arch, and then I'll show you how I kind of tucked all that in there. For my little arch sentiment, and let me show you about the stamp set that I used. I did not have a wedding set that spoke to me right off the bat, so I used this one that is coming out September 1st. This is the Framed and Fabulous stamp set, and it actually goes with a foil set with these hot foil dies that are coming out. There's a whole bunch I'll show you. But just because they're hot foil dies, don't ignore the stamp sets that come with them. You can buy them independently. So if you're not doing the foiling thing and you don't have a machine, because these dies are different when you foil them. Some are regular die cut and then some are a little bit different. The different cuttings, they don't cut through the foil, so they're different. But don't ignore the foiling stamp sets, because this is a really good one. And just off on a little rabbit trail here, but look at some of these ones coming out in September. So this one is Twinkling Tidings, which is a great stamp set by itself. Look at it. So with the little leaves and the bottom of the tree, and I love the natural looking tree. I love it. This is the dies that go with it, which do the hot foiling. But if you're not doing that, you can still get the stamp set by itself. Same thing with this one, Graceful Evergreen Deer, which is a pretty stamp set by itself. And then of course they're coming out with the deer to hot foil and cut out, which would be pretty to have beautiful gold deer or whatever. And of course the hot foil die, this is the reverse one that everybody wants. It's solid, so we can use the reverse of our foils. And this one is a die, hot foil die, and then of course leaves. But I was just telling you because this one is a great set, nice big fonts and really nice, and you can get it by itself, September 1st. So I took 2 of these. Actually, I used the die because I didn't want to make sure anything on my paper. I put the die upside down and then I just sort of laid my stamps down because I'm using 2 of them. So it's best wishes on your special day. I wanted it all at once, like all one stamp. So I kind of lined those up the way I wanted them to be, getting them nice and straight. And then I put my block on and then I inked it up and stamped it. And that's how I got that guy right there. And I do like anything with a mixed font. I think it looks really nice. Then what I did, I wanted this little bit to take up this extra space and add a little bit more pattern here. So I ran the same die through just a little piece down here. I cut this out and just ran that little piece through so I could get these dots, which I think looks nice right here. So it matches what's going on. Now on this one, I trimmed it out to go on the inside, but I think I like it better with the dots around the outside. That little stitched die is nice. And then you can make that any size you want. Then I added a little teeny strip of the copper there just to kind of hide my seam. And then let me show you how I put this together. Little glue on the back. You're not going to raise this one up, but what you have to do is figure out what is going to be the best place for things to show. So like up here is good, right there is not, and I might even trim those 2 apart just a wee bit right here. But trim these two apart. So based on what you use for your sentiment, maybe you use a square, maybe you use an oval or something else, but based on what you use, you'll want to kind of play around with where this goes. So I'm going to kind of tuck this in up here and here. That's why we don't want to glue those down yet, so we can kind of see what looks the best. This one can come over, this one goes under, just like that. And I'm not done yet. I know some of it's covered. And now this one, I'm going to cut this one off because this one's just being annoying. Okay. Then I can take my flower, which I'm just going to cut out from the designer paper from here. And then I will put a little dimensional under that, probably. And then you've got these extra leaves. If you want to poke a few out, you can just tuck them in, but I like how it looks, it's kind of overlapping. And if you're worried they're not going to stay there during the mail, then you can take a few glue dots with your little pokey guy here and just stick those under there in a few places to hold them down. Now, if you don't like this edge right here, which I don't mind it being empty or being blank like that, but on this one I did put an extra copper strip right here, which I don't really think it needs it, but then definitely some copper embellishments, you know, to kind of tie everything in like that. And then on the inside, a bigger arch with some more pretty paper and another little strip down here. So I say it's worth it. $20. It's a good die, and I think it's going to be really useful for lots of different things. All right, we'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.